Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel, Greg's Restorations. Today we're here with this 1971 Skidoo TNT 292 with a matching 1971 Mark II Ski-Boose. We did a full restoration on both of these units. It's a matching pair that Skidoo offered back in the 1970s. The Ski-Boose was sent to us first. It was in okay shape. The nose cone was pretty smashed. The belly pan was pretty dented up. The skis were a little bent. There was some rust. The seat back in the back of the Ski-Boose was in okay shape, thank God, because they don't reproduce them. They do reproduce the front nose cone. It fits okay. We had to work it a little bit to fit. That was a challenging project, but we wanted to find a matching snowmobile, so when we do this restoration and we do this video, it was something you could have bought together in 1971. The snowmobile came out of Portland, Maine. I had to spend some time finding it, but it took us about 6 months to do the restoration on the two of them. This snowmobile has about 918 miles on it. It was in really good shape. It wasn't rotted, it wasn't rusted. It had fiberglass cracks in the hood. It was used, but it was a very good candidate to restore. This snowmobile wasn't supposed to go to this level, but once you have them disassembled, they kind of just need everything. 1970s plastics and rubbers, everything kind of just snowballs. So we ended up starting with rebuilding the engine first, went through the whole engine, and then we're like, you know what, we might as well disassemble the whole sled. So we took everything apart, we sandblasted the tunnel, rebuilt the drivers on the front of the track. Is the original track. They don't really make a reproduction for this.
The least favorite thing about doing vintage snowmobiles is using an original track to stretch them once they've been sitting in a barn for 30 plus years in the same spot. Once you pull that track out to get it back in, it's quite the battle. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears trying to pull that thing and align it back into place.
We did the factory two-tone paint on this. All of our products are from Sherwin-Williams Automotive. We use their base coats and uncoats and clear coats and some single stage on this, but this sled is back to 100% original. Gooseland ended up helping us out with some parts for this. He is a Skidoo reproduction parts company in the Midwest. We had the chrome all sent out to New England Chrome. Still has the original windshield. We just buffed it and cleaned it. The windshield on the Ski-Boose is aftermarket because there was nothing left.
And once you get it back on snow and on a jack stand and break it loose, it's very rewarding once it's back on the snow.
One of the coolest things that I like about the snowmobile is it still has the factory Bombardier headlight with the stamping in it. Really cool. I would say probably one of my favorite things about this sled is the color scheme with the skis. It just jumps out at you in the snow. And today we set up a little scene at my home garage to have a 1970s winter. It just brings you back to the good old days. The hardest part is everything. Everything is a challenge on these antique snowmobiles because they were never made to last this long. They were, I wouldn't say cheaply made, but they were just a couple $100 new. I bet you this sled was $400 to $500 new, and they were sold at garages and part stores. Anybody like in town back in the day, there was tons of little dealerships all over the place. Like you could have a dealership at your home garage if you know, couple sleds there. We had a Skidoo dealership in Hardwick at Butler's Garage. I ended up actually getting some NOS Ski-Booses from them a couple years ago out of their basement. Pretty cool. There was a Yamaha dealer in town. There was a John Deere dealer in town. The Skidoo TNT stands for track and trail. This is kind of like a mid kind of crossover sled. Like I had behind me, I had a Olympic 399 electric start. That was more of a touring sled. It was a two-up. It has grips on the sides for a two-up passenger. That was more of a luxury you know, you and your wife would go out and ride that. This is more of a sled you take out with the boys. So if you were like a factory racer, you would have had a Skidoo Blizzard. That would have been like your oval track racer. But this was a sled that the consumer could buy. I grew up riding snowmobiles my whole life. I'm into mountain riding now, but I kind of love all snowmobiles. I love trail riding, I love mountain riding, I love antique. And in Massachusetts, we haven't gotten snow in the past like 10 years. And this year we have got 2 and 3 feet of snow, and we've been able to ride. So it's like the last couple weekends we've been riding and having fun, and we finally were able to finish this. So we've been out enjoying it and breaking it in for the customer. Antique snowmobiles are tough. They're a love-hate relationship to me. It's always something. Like we were talking about before when we were riding this around, it's like, you never know when the problem is gonna happen. So that's why we break these snowmobiles into the best we can before we send them out to the customer, so that the breakdowns or anything will happen to us before we send it out to them. So we like to put probably around 20 to 30 miles on it before we send it out. It's just, they're temperamental. They're glorified lawn tractors from the 70s. There was over 100 snowmobile manufacturers in the 70s. Around the mid 70s, a lot of the manufacturers went out of business just because of like low snow conditions, and Skidoo was one of the top manufacturers. I think they kind of figured it out. I have a couple Ski-Doos myself, and they just run. And that's why we chose this for our customer as well. My favorite antique snowmobiles are 1970s snowmobiles. They're just really small, they're nimble, you gotta kneel on the seat to kind of steer them. 80s snowmobiles are kind of more bulky. They're more of a groomed trail sled. These don't go very well in deep snow, but they're still fun when you get out there in a foot or 2 feet of snow to try to barely make it through it and get down and pack through a trail. We actually did a ride in town last weekend. I organized the event and we did a 10-mile loop, which was fun. We had some early 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s snowmobiles there. So it was kind of cool to see all the generation snowmobiles there riding around. Big thanks to Carter Stevens Farm for that at Stone Cow Brewery. It was a good project. Snowmobile is going to be shipped up to Canada, so it's going to be living its life up there on a lake house and winter fun with the family. So I'm really eager. It's going to be going home next week, and really neat. Welcome to my lair of all my junk. These 1970s snowmobiles are very temperamental. They're a love-hate relationship I have with them, just because you'll be going out riding with them and they'll just break down for no apparent reason. Either a carburetor shits the bed, bad fuel, or just crank seals let go and it blows up. There's no rhyme or reason. There's just always an issue. Like even today, we were riding it and it just stops running. Ignition switch was bad. It's knowing these sleds and how to ride them and how to use them, so that's why we go through them before we send them back to the customer to make sure that there's no issues, or at least minimal issues. Vintage snowmobiles are a labor of love. I think between the Ski-Boose and the snowmobile, we have over 500 hours. They just, once you get them apart, there's so many little parts that you wouldn't even think of, and they're very challenging, so it's very hard. You gotta have the right customer to do this. I would love to keep doing these, but I'm not sure if we're going to keep doing them in the future. Stay tuned for the next resto.